It's Friday, September 14th. Welcome to Pastor Bob Daily. You know, there are days when things get really difficult. I've just spent the last little while talking to someone who just doesn't seem to get a break. It seems like every time he starts getting back up, he gets knocked down again. And he gets discouraged, and I would too. And you know, sometimes you look up to the heavens and you say, God, why are you doing this to me? Because that's how you feel. And sometimes really having faith in the long term is difficult. Now, the thing that makes it better is not necessarily people coming along and saying, you know, you just have to persevere, God has a plan, you're going to be okay. All of that is true. But man, when you're right in the middle of it, it feels really bad, doesn't it? And yet, that faith, that belief that we're in God's hands is really important. I want to read that scripture to you. It's found in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 12. It says, I know whom I have believed, and I'm convinced that he is able to guard what I've entrusted to him until that day. It's great scripture. But you know, it starts out with saying, I know whom I have believed. And the word believe there in the original Greek means to trust in, to cling to rely on. I know whom I have trusted in, whom I've clinged to, whom I've relied on. I know him. And because of that, I'm convinced that he's able to guard which I've given to him until that day. Even when the tough times come. Now, I'm 60 almost, and I can look back on my life and see a lot of things in retrospect. And what seemed so difficult at the time, and those times when I looked up to the heavens and said, God, what are you doing to me? That's the way I felt. I can see what it produced in me. I can see a bigger picture now because I can look back and see the whole picture, and I couldn't see it at the time. But the most difficult thing is to trust God through them. You know, when it feels the world is falling apart, how much do you trust God? You know, what makes a person feel that way? And I know quite a few Christians that have committed suicide. That's pretty sad. And sometimes you feel, God, why can't I trust you? Why can't I rely on you? Lord, what are you doing to me? And we don't see the bigger picture, and we feel like we just have to check out. And we may not have all been suicidal, but we've all had those kinds of discouraging thoughts. But Timothy says, you know, the first thing you have to do is believe. You have to have a relationship with God where you trust him, you cling to him, you rely on him, and because you can do that, you're convinced that he's able to guard which you've entrusted with him until the day when we all go to heaven. So that's important. And today, if you're getting discouraged, I want this to be an encouragement for you. Don't let go. Don't give up. And even though that may not be what you want to hear, what we really need sometimes is just somebody to hug us and say, I feel bad for you. And sometimes that's the best thing you can do for somebody who's going through a difficult time. But folks, if you know him, then you know that he's going to take care of you and he's going to get you through it. And that's what it says here. I'm convinced, he says. I'm persuaded, another translation says, that he's able to guard what I've entrusted to him, what I've given to him, until that day. Don't give up. Persevere. There are better times ahead. God bless you. Have a great day.